Greetings everyone, I'm Cord II and welcome to the third episode of More Mobs. Now this one I have a lot of new stuff to show you. Um, for example, I finished the Cyclops mob. I don't think anything else new, except I added 2 more mobs. But I didn't show them off in Discord at all. I only gave little hints. Okay, maybe I revealed one of them partially, but I didn't want to until this episode came out. So let's have a look at Cyclops. Now, the last time we've seen this dude was in episode 1, all the way back, without even a proper texture. Although I've showed him in my Discord server, I haven't really showed him in any of the videos. So let's just spawn one in, and as you can see, he's still a neutral mob. He has AI, just look like he doesn't. Texture might need little tweaks. Like this texture, the pants is a little too rough on the eyes in my opinion. I like the ears and the hair that I did on him. I think those are pretty neat, and it's a nice texture, but it could have some more work on it. Either way, that's not my focus right now. I think it's fine as it is, most regard. So he's a peaceful mob. He spawns in all kinds of areas like plains and forests, stuff like that. So grassy biomes for the most part, and he spawns on the surface as well. So you're only going to see him on the surface, and that's it. Except you see now he has some attributes. First of all, he's really fast. And second of all, if I touch this guy, I'm going to regret it. As you can see, he comes at me fast, and I have no chance. He's pretty strong, and he will still be angry at me. I might improve that a little bit. Adjust that feature basically. He seems to be dancing right now. Oh, well, it's trying to run away. He's pretty quick, but I don't think it's impossible to run away from him. His speed is around like the Scooper speed, maybe the same. I'm not sure. Let's just kill this guy, and he doesn't have a drop yet. I'm going to predict your expectations. No, he's not going to drop his eye. Maybe he can drop his pants as leather pants, but it will be of the texture, though that would make sense. So I'm not sure about that. He will not drop his eye. That's a drop that I'm planning so far for the Ender Cyclops instead. And I don't think if you noticed yet, but I'm still a little bit sick, but my voice is for the most part good, so I thought I can make a video. It's fine. I think it's fine. I'm sorry if it's not, but either way, I haven't really changed much of the other mobs. Maybe I just tweaked the texture, tweaked it a little bit, but I don't remember anything specific interesting I had about them. Don't worry about that. That was a thing that was just testing something. So let me show you this new mob that I teased, and I showed off a little bit on my server, but without anything straightforward. So this is my blue screen area. That's where I take pictures of the mobs, and so I can have them on the thumbnail and stuff. Let's spawn one in, and as you can see, it's quiet. They don't have any sounds like all the other mobs, and they cannot really find their way out of that hole, so I guess I'll have to attract his attention this way, so we can have a good look at him. So that's how he looks, right, my boy? We're gonna show your face a little better. Yeah, that's not the best view, but I think that'll do for now. So let's just kill this dude and See that he doesn't drop anything as well, just as the Cyclops. Those are missing work in progress loot tables, which is pretty much the same loot table that zombies had when they didn't have anything to drop back in the good old days. Minecraft, if you recall, leave a like and subscribe to the channel. See how more of us are there. But anyway, it's just the usual creeper that spawns in the cave. The only difference is that he doesn't make any sounds, and yes, in the full version he will make sounds as the rest of the mobs, but they will be much quieter. There'll be quiet sounds, and it'll be hard to spot them until it's too late. They have a shorter fuse, I think twice shorter if I'm not mistaken. They have more health, and their explosion is much more lethal. Maybe even, I think it's around 3 times more powerful than the usual creeper. When I tried it out, they all killed me immediately, so let's just try one right here. Let's let him explode and walk off a little bit. Surprisingly, I didn't take any damage. Maybe it's because of the mods. Blocks, I mean. Let's try again. As you can see, he has 2 faces, in fact, not even 1. Let's explode him and... See, I'm trying to play safe, but his explosion is pretty powerful. And you'll see that when I'll try to fight him in a different place. I'm not going to show you yet what it is. But let's just go into creative mode and really, wow, I had to do that. Either way, let's just go to creative mode, summon one, and data, merge, entity, tag, and cave creeper. I know, limit 1. No way, 1, and that should be it. That should be it. So let's have a closer look at this dude. I couldn't get rid of the annoying thingy, but it's the only way to make the name display correctly. I think that cosmetic thingy I was about to say that little detail is less in your eye than have it in your death message was killed by creepers, so you know it's a little less spherical. So let's have a look. His feet have this nice texture. In my opinion, it's nice. You can disagree, but I think it's nice. His texture is supposed to mirror that of a stone, and he does blend in, but not that much, because first of all it's 8 on 8 and not 16 on 16 like blocks, so it cannot blend in particularly. And I made it all the lines, all the patterns are going upwards and not sideways like actual stone. Let me just show you. Yep, so it's not that much as stone, but it still blends in. And I want to say that this is how do I say this, natural kind of natural thing he has. Don't know how to say it, but basically it's camouflage, that's the word. And it's on purpose like this. He does have 2 faces. When you look at him closer, you definitely know which one is the right face, but when you're playing, this might get in your way, and I think that's really interesting. I didn't want to do it all 4 sides, so I did it like this. It's not necessary, but I like it. So I think we had a good look at him. Now let's just... Yup, that's it for this mob. He will drop something valuable. He'll be just more dangerous. I didn't think that removing creepers from cave is the right idea, but I want to make a creeper that will blend in, and I want to make creepers for other biomes blend in better as well. But it doesn't necessarily mean that there's going to be like a separate mob. It might be just a texture change. So yeah, that's it for this mob. And finally, the mob that I have not shown yet, I believe, is this mob. Now, I've been hinting at it, but I haven't shown the mob itself at all. It's a mob that's only exclusive to the strongholds, and there's some over there, and some of them disappear. but hey. Let's just have a closer look. So I will go into Game Mode Survival and just go through your usual Stronghold experience, but now with new mobs. I'm also can be changing the creepers to a different mob. Maybe make a new mob. Maybe I'll just make it a silverfish. I'm not sure yet, but I don't think creepers, cave creepers specifically, are necessary for this part. Of course, fortresses are really often cross interfering with caves and stuff like that, but I think they're not necessary in strongholds, and I wanted to have player to have a different experience within the strongholds. I will also probably replace the zombies with zombie villagers, just because it seems to match more. And as you can see, that's how the despawning feature works, because this mob requires 2 mobs to function. You will understand why as soon as we get close to them, if I can find any. And let's just give me some night vision real quick, and we'll go this way, I guess. So some new ones spawn right there. They seem closer. They are closer than they actually seem to be, but let's handle these guys first. I am keeping the miners. Probably, I'm pretty sure I am. Let's just go down, and we're getting closer to them. I hope they don't despawn, but we seem to be close enough for them to not despawn. So let's go ahead and find those guys. We're right next to them, I believe. Here's one. Here's 2. Oh my god. I need to run from them. As you can see, they have no trouble at getting to me through walls. They don't prefer going through walls, and they can take damage a little bit because the block detection isn't really that accurate. And it's specifically because this mob relies on the Vindicator part the most. And you can probably tell that this is using a Vex mob as well. Pretty obvious in my opinion. Oh, I think I opened my door for him. That was my mistake. But he died anyway, so yeah, they can suffocate with blocks. Their block detection isn't really perfect, but I think it's good enough for what it is, and I cannot really do better. So we're gonna have to keep it this way, I guess. Excuse me, as I said, I'm still a little bit sick. So let's just go back, and those are... Ooh, eerie sound. But those are closer than the last time, so I think we're gonna have less trouble fighting them. And let's just jump in. And I'll go for this one, maybe those 2. There's a miner right here. There's even more than one. Alright. Oh, that's fine. Oopsie. I might actually die from this guy. And maybe even for this guy. Oh wow, I might actually die a horrible death. Oh well, I didn't. Great survival skills, although you're probably not gonna be having Trident by this point in the game. I think it's an end game item. I mean, that would make sense to me because it's really overpowered. But either way, as you can see, he can partially go through walls, but he doesn't prefer it since, again, as I said, it's Vindicator riding a Vex, basically, but it's more tricky than that. So my first intention was to make this mob go at you using a Vex, presumably. Then I wanted to... My voice is all messed up now. Excuse me, but anyway, let's continue. I think we're not gonna get to that one, but let's just jump in. These 2 are pretty close, so let's fight them instead. That's the Dying action. As I said, the mob block detection isn't really exact, but hey. It also takes them a while to go through blocks, which is also a big issue. But I cannot do anything about it really, because again, I really like the way this mob functions. It is controlled by a Vindicator, so it's not a Vex. It doesn't jump at you the same way. It's more dangerous than a Vex, in my opinion. And he's invulnerable while he's in this spectating state. Oh, I opened the door for him again. So, because obviously to avoid the wall issues that they're having. Now you seem to... Oh, I picked it up anyway. Fuck that shit. I'm trying to find a new one. Here's one right there. I believe it's... Oh, well, it's not this way. But why not? We pick this up. We can just throw this away. Fine. I guess I'll make it one like this. And let's combine those two. So that should be good. We should be fine. Here's one right there. As you can see, that did not hurt him because he's not. He's actually still spectating. And I don't know what he's looking at, but sometimes they can freeze. Even though they say I never freeze, they can still freeze, so that's a problem. And also there's another one problem, which I believe is right here. You can see it. Yup. This is not entirely correct. The structure detection. So this is obviously detecting strongholds by using the blocks that are in the stronghold specifically. Every time a skeleton spawns on any of the 3 blocks, which are mossy, cracked, and usual stone bricks, it will be replaced by this ghost. I haven't really given him a proper name yet, but it's presumed to be a prisoner. I'm not sure why. Maybe I'll even give it a texture. Really almost invisible, transparent texture. I think I turned off my mic, but anyway. Let's see how he handles this. He doesn't want to fight, seems like. So they have weird behavior, but I'm satisfied with the way the combat works with those mobs. We can just spawn it right here if you want, but I want to find a different area for this. Let's spawn him. Why not here? So there he is. Should be attacking us, but he's not. So yeah, the staircase may confuse him a lot. It should be good for the most part. And he doesn't have a big follow range, but I don't know. Oh shit, no. Well, that's just that. I guess we'll go back and see if any one of those spawn again. And there are some of them. But they're too far away, man. I wish they were closer. It's okay then, we could just spawn one right here. Even though they probably would never end up in this area. And they also have this weird thing where they just go down when they spawn for some reason. I assume that may be affected by the Vexes, but again, it's not even really Vex's part. Because Vexes are not in control. Only the Vindicators control what's happening. So it's interesting how they ride those mobs. I would like to look at different mobs riding Vexes and how they use their mobility. Of course, they're not programmed to move this way because they're obviously walking and not gliding. But the way he moves, when he moves properly and not like this, is quite interesting. And I like the way it turned out combat-wise when it works, right? Just not right now. Now it doesn't work right. But I think this guy will just die. Alright, so I'll teleport myself to one of them. I think that's not how you write it. You write it like this. Okay, seems. Fuck. Well, then I didn't predict this, I guess. This looks interesting. Where am I? I'm just going to suffocate, I guess. Yup, should have predicted this, but the reason why I didn't show you this mob in this area is obviously because you would never end up in this area, and he should be only fought in the fortresses, strongholds. I mean, as that's his spawn area. This is the only place you're going to see them in the game. Wow, that's. I don't know what happened to the score right there. Something went wrong. And that's... wow. You see, he's pretty fast when he's in an open area like this. And it's less capable of suffocating itself. It's pretty neat, but as you can see, he just went underground and probably never come up ever again. He'll just despawn like any other mobs do. So let me show you in action after I'm done with this fighting part how exactly they despawn and how does all this work. It's simpler than you thought, it probably easier than you think, but it's interesting nonetheless to see this behavior. I believe he's in this part of the... oh yeah, that's here. I forgot there's a cave. But as a lot of other mobs of this nature, specifically mystical mobs, he drops corrupted souls, or damaged souls, corrupted souls, and I'm not, and he only drops when you kill it specifically. So no other way to get this mob, to get this item, and I hope he'll just stop being a little dick and actually fight me. So yeah, these mobs, you gotta really you gotta really make them want to fight you, because they're not really that interested, and it's not like it's programmed this way. No, it's just Minecraft being a fucking dick, and they're not behaving the right way. They should be much more menacing than they are. But nonetheless, they're pretty interesting mobs, and I like the way they work. For the most part, I like when they work correctly. It's really cool, but when they don't, obviously it's not what I want, and it's not what I like. So I want your feedback on this mob. I also, before this version, I created a version that's controlled by a Vex, and I didn't particularly like it. Well, this time he went up much faster. And it's slow again. Tridents aren't really useful against them, as they... finally I killed this one. So let me just run this function that is M1A hashtag. It's not a fucking hashtag, it's... well, anyway, summon prisoner G2. So this is the first version that I came out with, and as you can see, it's controlled by a Vex and not the Vindicator, and it doesn't really act the way I like it to act. Wow, really? And I have to face this fucking ridiculous bug again. Never again. I even... look! It happens so often that I even made this the whole thing, but... well, anyway. I'm not gonna complain about that. So, they work fine, even in some respect better than the actual version I ended up with. But I didn't like it for the specific reason of the AI and the behavior. As I said, I really like the way they work when they work properly, and that's what I wanted to end up with. The problem is that if I left it in this way, it would be just a Vex. You know, what's the difference between this guy and a Vex? He does the same thing. Go through walls and he punches you like that, but difference is because difference with the actual variant that I am using is that it combines the persistence of Vindicators and the flying of Vexes, but it's also moves differently and not like the actual Vexes themselves. So I prefer that version over this one, specifically for that reason. Specifically for the reason that I didn't want to make the same mob. I wanted to make a new experience, and that's what I ended up with. Pretty much, it's not very good for what it is, to be honest, because it has a lot of issues, right? Oh, I haven't fixed this yet too. But anyway, let's just kill all entities who are prisoners. Wow, that was a lot of them. Anyway, now I'm going to game mode spectator. Run the same function, the second mob, and you will see the difference. So let's just kill all entities that are Vexes. As you can see, he died as well without making any sounds. Now let's just run the same function, and it doesn't make a difference really, because they have the same tags. The only difference is their behavior, of course, and how they're controlled. Because this guy is just being teleported to the Vex, as you can see, because right under his feet. And if I summon, I have to fix that issue with my language. Summon a usual one, the one that I prefer. You can see he's riding a Vex, so you can see the difference how they're moving. It's really obvious. Yeah, we can see definitely the difference. Let me actually summon a villager. That will be interesting. As you can see, this guy goes for it, and I just love the way he moves when he does it right. It's really awesome. Just look at him go. He's flying, but he looks really menacing. He's really quick too, so he knows how to take care of that Vex movement. Even though he's not the best at it, he's definitely better than this dude, who doesn't even care about villagers because Vexes don't attack villagers. Please don't end up in the Nether. I would not like you to be there, or in the end. Please don't. Just oh. Well, now I'm going to kill all Vindicators instead, and you will hear, specifically because this mob has a Vex that does have sounds. That does sound. And I don't know why I didn't hear it, but as you can see, there's no Vex, and that's because I'm using a really simple contraption that I made a long time ago when I was working on the first ever version of Mormobs Nether. I made this whole idea. I made this whole thing. So what it does, it just uses a scoreboard, and when, especially thanks to 1.13, this is much easier. So when one entity doesn't have a second entity, it would die. That's how despawning works, because when I was working on Nether spiders despawned, but shulkers stayed. Yeah, that's shulker and the spider. So that was a big issue. That was fixed easily with the scoreboard. So they only give the score to themselves when they are not in contact with the other mob. So there's two mobs that are part of this one mob, and if they're not close enough, basically when one of them is missing, the other one dies, and the way it dies, it just sets its health to 0, makes itself silent, removes the default table, and basically just it's an entity data command. It's just, you know, changed now to data merge entity, but what it is, it's just removing the data. It makes a death that doesn't have any items, doesn't make any sounds. It's just it disappears. Basically just despawning, but there's still a death animation, and that's the only difference. So that's how this guy works. And that's it for now. I've showed you Cyclops, cave creepers, and prisoners, I guess. That was episode 3 of Mormobs. Thank you for watching, and I'm sorry I didn't include the process of me working on a different mob in this one, as I promised. But it'll be in the next episode, so stay tuned for that. But that didn't take too long. No, it did. It did take too long. Anyway, thank you for watching, and check all the links, and don't forget to join my Discord server and follow me on Twitter so you can see all my sneak peeks and what I'm working on, and talk to me and shit. If you are interested in more mobs, you'll always see the first news there, except if I'm not revealing something. Either way, as I said, thank you for watching. Check all the links, and don't forget to ring my bell and all the other stuff. As always, guys, stay.